What is post-traumatic stress and what is happening to me? The key post-trauma symptoms include feelings of horror, helplessness, or fear, recurrent, intrusive re-experiencing of traumatic events like nightmare, flashback, intrusive memory replay, avoidance of any trauma-related cues such as places, people, or activities associated with the trauma or resulting in reminders of the trauma. It also includes anxious arousal like increasing heart rate and breathing, nervousness, fearfulness, agitation, easily ignited startle response, and even impairment of life skills, the ability to socialize, work, attend school, or manage family responsibilities. So what is happening to me? In the 1890s to early 1900s, Ivan Pavlov investigated gastric function in dogs and reflex responses. This has helped us to understand what happens after exposure to trauma and how to effectively help individuals recover from their difficult experiences. Consider this. When a dog is exposed to a favorite treat, it will salivate. If you then show the dog its favorite treat and at the same time ring a bell, it will salivate. Over time, it will salivate just by hearing the bell ring. You can continually ring the bell, but do not provide the treat. Then the response of salivation will stop. So the bell is not directly causing the dog to salivate. It is the reminder of the treat that leads the dog to salivate. When we're considering a trauma memory, it can also be associated with many reminders. For example, a friend of mine described being mugged on a beach when he was walking. He was pushed into the sand and his wallet and cell phone were taken. He was not injured, but later, walking in the sand or feeling sand created a sense of discomfort, leading him to avoid enjoying a walk on the beach. He didn't fully understand the connection until I explained what was really getting triggered was the mugging memory. So if we exposed my friend to sand over time, his discomfort would extinguish as well. This would be a good outcome, and then he could enjoy a nice walk on a sunny beach again without being bothered by negative reminders of the mugging. Looking at common trauma responses to reminders of a trauma, such as fear and panicky feelings, body tension, rapid and shallow breathing, these responses can also reduce or be better managed when we expose the individual to reminders of the trauma experience paired with relaxation over time with the goal of extinguishing the disturbing emotional response. This doesn't mean you lose the memory of what happened, but that reminders of the trauma will have less of an impact on you. The idea is that we want to be able to embrace our lives and enjoy activities despite historical trauma. Otherwise, this bad thing that happened can continue to create difficulties for a long time rather than just in the moment of the event. What can happen when we have been exposed to trauma is that we close down our circle of activities to avoid feelings of anxiety associated with our trauma memories. We may change our behaviors to include avoidance of objects, people, and events that re-trigger remembrances of traumatic events and the negative emotions associated with them. We might choose to dull the intensity of our emotions through the use of drug or alcohol. The essence of resolving trauma memories requires the individual to begin to confront rather than avoid the traumatic memories and the reminders associated with the traumas. The hoped-for outcome is that you will learn to address your fears and remain engaged in confronting the memories until the fear lessens and the symptoms are hopefully ultimately extinguished. We always pair relaxation with trauma exposure to assist you in moving forward to the best outcome. You could repeat any of the guided exercises multiple times in order to arrive at the best results. We also need to consider our thoughts and conclusions because they have a very big impact on our future decisions and behaviors following a traumatic event. Sometimes we can arrive at an incorrect conclusion such as, no one loves me, I'm never safe, people will always hurt me, or whatever it is at the core of our belief system. These conclusions can negatively impact how we live our lives, limit our activities, and keep us from our best possible futures. There are 4 things we need to challenge. 1, our distorted beliefs. 2, identifying the root of the distortion. For example, when did the belief first surface? What happened at that time? 3, extinguish the belief, often through various exposure or challenging exercises. And 4, develop new, more adaptive and intentional schemas or belief systems. For example, I'm doing my best now. Our brain functions in a manner to keep us out of harm's way and stores trauma memories so that when we have reminders of the trauma, they ignite our nervous system so that it activates all our resources to get us out of harm's way. For example, if my friend sees sand, he would feel a sense of fear and tension and would be motivated to run away as he perceives a threat to his safety. However, this is not really adaptive for him, as he hasn't taken the time to really assess if there's any real danger now. Nonetheless, that is a pretty common response, and it happens so quickly that he doesn't realize he's reacting to sand versus a threatening mugging situation. So in order for him to react less quickly, we have to take down the volume of fear, in his case, fear to sand, so that he can assess his environment and ask himself, is there any real danger now? If the answer is no, he can then return to relaxing and enjoying his environment rather than reacting. But anyone who has been exposed to a very significant trauma understands that this may take some time to achieve because the fear in this moment can feel very real, even if there is no threat.